When it comes to me and Devon, all I need is to be ranked higher than him on the PWI 500. And
PWI 500. Cheers to that one,
cheers,
brother. Oh, that was a blast from the past.
That was a double, folks.
That's going to be that felt good going down.
You brought up LFG. We are down here.
Time out.
We are down here in Orlando, Florida, taping LFG, which the debut episode is Sunday night, February 16th on A&E. Legends and future greats. The legends, yourself, Booker T, Mickey James, and myself. The future greats, 16 future greats in the NXT program right now, in the system. Just give me your 30,000 feet analysis of this, your thoughts on the show, the chemistry that we have and that you have with the other coaches, the chemistry you have with the younger talent, the future greats, and how it feels to be a part of this, because this is something brand new for you.
Yeah, this is really new for. I mean, I think it's new in general to have this kind of view into the process of building a professional wrestler. Right, you're going to get a really close inside look into the process of how that's done, which, to my knowledge, hasn't been done at this level. And I have to, I mean, you know me, I'm old school, kayfabe to the very end. I had my reservations, right? It was just like, when they give me the concept, I was like, even that's a bit much for me. And it really took me a while, because we peel the curtain back even more so than we do on a normal basis. But I think what the people get is, I think what they're going to take away from it is more of an appreciation of what athletes have to go through to get into this business. I think there's a lot of preconceived ideas about what sports entertainment, professional wrestling is, and I don't think that people really understand. A lot of people don't understand the work and all of the different facets that go into creating a talent. And my goodness, the camaraderie between the four legends has just grown week to week. I mean, obviously, I had relationships with you, and I had relationship with Booker. And Mickey is she's grown on me, right? I never really had a lot of interaction with the girls other than the one I married. And and
there you have it.
There you have it. So it's really fun, and everyone is kind of starting to fall into their groove and feel comfortable. And even we had that discussion earlier. You're starting to want to die on the hills that you want to die on.
Oh, we're gonna get into the hills that I die on.
It really has. It's really given me a new spark, really, for the process of bringing people along. Like I always, like when I was working, I tried to mentor as much as I could to the guys that I felt like were genuinely, you got those guys that'll come up and give you FaceTime. And
then never take the advice.
No, they just want to
bullshit kiss your ass FaceTime because they're trying to get over with you, not because they really want your advice.
Yeah,
despise those guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that, and I got turned off because it takes time, right?
Yeah,
to explain concepts and to explain psychology and why you do certain things. You just can't have like a 5-minute conversation. It takes time to relay that and to try and make sure that they understand that. And then you go out and you spend 30, 45 minutes talking with someone, and then they go out and they apply absolutely zero. And it really became frustrating. And like, I kind of removed myself. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I just, the product's going to go where it's going to go. But this, some of these kids, they got here a couple of weeks before we started filming. I mean, when I say got here, I mean they got in the program. They had never wrestled. They had no background whatsoever. So taking like a raw piece of clay and start to mold it. And it's been, that in its own right has been challenging, I'm sure, for you as well, because you have a couple that have been in the system for a little bit. It's got a minute here in NXT in the developmental, and then you got these, and I have two that again they've never stepped foot in the ring.
Yeah,
and that pressure, I think these kids, they may take a while to develop as talents. There's 16, right? There's 16 of them.
Yep.
And there's some that's going to take longer to develop. If they stick with it, there is no situation that these kids, if they do get pulled up to a bigger roster, a main roster, there's no situation that's going to be too big for them.
We're probably within the 9th or 10th week now of filming, and I think we're all starting to see who is pulling away from the pack and who has a legitimate shot of making it and truly doing this. I want to get back to a word you just used, because I have used the word to describe the four coaches also, and that's why my eyes lit up and I popped when you said it. Camaraderie.
Yeah.
The camaraderie that the four of us have. Listen, we, on paper, if you put The Undertaker, Booker T, Mickey James, and Bubba Ray Dudley, like, those are four names that were very accomplished in the industry, but how are those people going to get along on a TV show? I was shocked. Listen, I know how I get along with you on an individual basis. I know how I get along with Booker on an individual basis, and Mickey too. I didn't know how the four of us would gel.
Yeah. It's kind of a head scratcher, right?
From day one.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely.
From day one, we had a certain chemistry amongst the four of us. We all complement each other in a certain way, and I'm super excited about the camaraderie relationship, the relationship we're developing with the future greats, and how well the show is going. I could sit here and I could promo and plug this show all I want. Oh, it's so great, it's excellent, you got to see it. I'm genuinely excited for fans to watch this show.
Absolutely.
And people have asked me, hey, what about the show is so intriguing to you? And my answer was you. You, because of what you said earlier. When they told me you were a part of this, first thing I said out loud, he's going to pull back the curtain that much?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just knowing what I know of you, it's probably still uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
Like in like week 1 or 2, I remember sitting next to you when you were giving feedback, and I heard you like stop on certain words, like they wouldn't even come out of your mouth, because you're just programmed to not speak this way.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so accurate. It's hit the nail right on the head. It has really been a challenge for me to open up, and you'll see through the course of the show, you'll see me get more comfortable. And there's still days that we talk about things, and in the back of my head, I'm running it through there like, gosh, do I really want to talk about this? But I think it's so well done. The glimpses behind the curtain, if you will, it'll make so much sense to when you watch the product. I think so many more things will make sense in the process and how it takes time for people to develop.
With not being comfortable pulling back the curtain, was that because you wanted to protect the industry, or you were trying to protect your character?
The industry. Like my character, like a lot of people, I get requests all the time, like, man, can we just get the hat and coat one more time? No, that's done. There's a reason why it's done. Yeah, it's done because if I'm sitting on your show right now talking like this out of pocket, it doesn't make sense. It cheapens what my body of work was as that character. This is the way I look at it. Now you can call me a mark if you want, but that character and the body of work that I feel like that I put together, like I can't go there, right? Now, if there was any gas left in the tank, right, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put the boots back on and work, then some kind of catastrophic event would have to happen in this life that would take me back, but that's not there. So that's why it's 6 feet under with Mark Calloway, right? That's why we use American Badass and not the funeral dirge that we always do. I'm moving forward because I don't want to cheapen what I did, and I think, there's so many opportunities for me, like financial opportunities. Everybody wants the hat and the coat, and
They would probably pay ungodly amounts of money for you to do it again.
Absolutely. But I'm so proud of the legacy of that aspect of the character that the money is not, it's just not worth it.
When it comes to the character, and Dave LaGreca, the creator of Busted Open, we've had this conversation before. You've met Dave. He's a huge Undertaker fan, and he's like, I want to see the entrance one more time and the hand cup one more time. And I'm like, Dave, I never need to see it again. Yeah. And I say that in a respectful way.
I understand.
Like, I've seen it. I'm so much more interested in Mark Calloway than I am the Undertaker now. Ever since you did that documentary, and I saw you sitting there, and I saw real emotion from you.
Right.
I perked up and whoa, what is that?
Who is that guy?
Yeah, that's real emotion. His tone is different. His inflection is he's actually giving thought to what he's saying as opposed to just acting like, the dead man. And I was completely sold. I'm like, I want more of that. I can go see Kiss with the makeup on night after night, and I'll appreciate it and respect it. But I want to hear Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley talk to me about day one when they were struggling and stuff like that. I want to hear what's behind the makeup. I want to hear what's behind the hat and the jacket and the jacket.
Yeah, and that part I have, I don't have a problem, right? I mean, I can talk. That's what I do. I storytell. That was what my career was all about, was storytelling, and that's kind of where I'm at, and that's what I like to share, and I try to base my show around that. But yeah, to put the hat and the coat on, it's just kind of like a slap in the face at this point.
Gotcha.
There's again, the financial opportunities are far greater doing it that way, but at this point, I just, it's time to let it rest in peace.
Yep, I totally understand.
Let it rest in peace, and this is what we get, and this is what we move forward with.
I wrote down what I call a stream of consciousness questions. I didn't want this to be, so formal and everything. I just wanted this to be what pops into my head at any given moment. And I have a next question for you, but we're going to do another shot of Jack real quick, all right? And we're going to cheers to Andre.
Oh, the boss.
How about that?
To the boss.
To the boss. To Andre. I want to role play with you for a second.
You pinky son of a gun. I always knew it.
Okay?
All right, go ahead.
Here's, you'll know where I'm going during the role play. I want to know what your answer would be today. Mark, I need you to put Brock over at WrestleMania.
That was what the first word out of my mouth was.
What would it be today?
Today, it'd be the same. It would be the same.
Because that's what the boss wanted?
Yeah. So you have to look at this thing the way I look at it. So that character doesn't get an opportunity. That character doesn't get a chance to become what it became, is, and will live on hopefully forever and ever without that man's blessing. Okay? Did I agree with it? No, I didn't agree with it. But I also, there's two things in play here. I wouldn't be in that position without him giving me an opportunity, because everyone, they've heard the story a million times. I was told that I would never draw a dime. Mm-hmm. He gave me an opportunity to prove people wrong, right? And that's not lost on me. Like, he could have passed. He could have passed on that opportunity. And second of all, it's our duty. It is our duty
to
pass the torch when the call it comes through. I didn't agree that it needed to be Brock. I didn't feel like Brock needed it, right? Brock was, and people, all the internet geniuses.
Right.
Well, he had lost this and he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He needed a win. Brock was an attraction all to himself by this time. Would it have helped? Would it have helped Bray? Obviously, it would have helped Bray. Would it have skyrocketed Roman? Probably, if they'd have got that juice. But again, it wasn't my call. I questioned it. I said, and the thing that was the most disturbing for me was, like, when I got to the building that day, I was going over.
You didn't exactly like the way it.
I didn't like the way it panned out.
Gotcha. And we've heard the story. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's early afternoon. In the Superdome. I'm in a room completely by myself, and the old man walks in, and that just doesn't happen.
Correct.
And as soon as I saw him, I knew right away. Okay, I know it's coming. And I've said it a million times: Vince can sell ice to an Eskimo, and he can, right? But this time I questioned him. I was like, I gave my points, and.
Questioned him in what way? In a way you've never questioned him before?
Well,
did it come from a position of maybe a little bit of defiance? Like, hey, boss, I don't think this is the right way to go.
It was. I just wanted to make sure that he was sure, because through the buildup, it had gone back and forth. It was like, okay, Brock's going over. No. Taker needs to keep this thing going for a little bit longer. So it had gone back and forth. I'd been home. We'd finished. We'd done the last TV. I went home for a few days. No call, nothing. So it's in my head now. Now I'm putting the match together in my head, and I'm seeing and I'm visualizing things. And then again, he walks in, and I knew exactly why he was there. And so it was just questioning him. Are you sure this is what you want to do? And to his. For him, he's like, Mark, if not him, who?
And I agree with that question at that time.
Yeah. And no, and I get it. Like, it protected, like, if anybody, there was nobody on the roster right then, on that day, I don't think there was anybody on the roster ready to take that. Roman was still a little bit away.
Yep.
Bray was still trying to get his thing figured out. Vince wasn't completely sold on him at that point still. There was nobody else on the roster that. So, that was my only question. Are you sure that's what you want to do? I said, I think, I think a lot of it too is he was worried because my health at this point is on the decline. It was a struggle every year to get myself ready for Mania, and I think he wanted to make sure that he got that out of me, because he knew that was the biggest gift that I could give. That was the biggest thing that I could do for anybody in the business, was give them that win.
You talked about the word opportunity, and there are certain words that really resonate or trigger me, and trigger me in a good way when it comes to wrestling. I'll never forget sitting in JR's office, me, Devon, JR, and Vince, before me and Devon came here. And I looked at Vince and I said, hey, let's talk about the push. Thinking
Hang on. Hang on, wait a minute. No. Light them up, brother. Light them up. Fill them up.
Okay, here.
Wait a minute. You're not even signed yet. You're worried about your freaking push. Why do I even doubt that? I don't doubt that for 1 second.
Knowing what you know of me now.
Oh, bro.
With all
Hamburger Hill 001. Oh, to the push.
To the push.
Holy shit.
Down the hatch.
Please continue.
I look at Vince and I go, let's talk about the push. And this sneer or chuckle or whatever came out of him. And he looks at me and he says, Bubba, there is no push. There's opportunity.
Yeah.
And
that's consistent.
And that word stuck with me throughout my entire career, especially when it comes to the WWE. You are given nothing. You have you're owed nothing.
Yeah. You're
going to get an opportunity. What you do with this opportunity is up to you. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely 100%. In that time period. Yes. And yeah.
Yep.
I can only speak for my time there, and that's the way it was. And I was given the same I was given the same thing. I'm going to give you an opportunity.
You WrestleMania with Brock, sticking with Mania for a quick second. Does the fan in you have a favorite WrestleMania match that doesn't involve you? Is there anything you can go and watch and appreciate?
Man, it would have to be Mach and Steamboat. I mean, that was pretty damn good. I'm
going to throw something at you that I don't know if you've been hit with ever before, but I got to do it. I walk out of WrestleMania 3, Mach and Steamboat, Hogan and Andre, all right? And Mach and Steamboat stole the show.
Yep.
Then I become a pro. Then I keep moving forward, and then I learn about what led up to Mach and Steamboat for 3 months, and it took the steam out of it a little bit for me.
There was Mach was very eccentric in the way he prepared and what he wanted to do.
But is it really difficult to do if you plan on it that long?
Yeah, I know.
What if you and Sean had 3 months to prepare?
Oh my gosh!
As great as you and Sean were,
it wouldn't have been as good as it was.
And I totally understand your point. Yeah. But imagine you had 3 months to talk about, prepare right there. It kind of loses the charm.
It does. Yes. I was just talking about, and I didn't think about it in that depth. I'm just talking about delivery of a match and just all of the little things. But yes, when you put it that way, you really just pissed on my anyway.
So I got you to think about this in a little bit of a different way.
No, absolutely. When you think 3 months of preparation and script and all of that, and which was really it for that time period too, which was really unusual, because at that time that kind of thought wasn't really put into it yet, into the business yet. I mean, I remember one. Let's see, WrestleMania. I started at 7. WrestleMania 7. I was out drinking the night before. WrestleMania 8.
Right.
I mean, it was all done the day of. The WrestleMania 26, 25, 27. The first one, not the first one, but in the 4 matches, the 2 with Shawn and then the 2 with Triple H. 27 doors are open, and me and Triple H don't have a thing.
That's why Savage Steve. Listen, I get it, but I believe anybody that's on their level could probably achieve the same thing with that much. Listen, I'm not going to put myself in the same breath, but I'm going to make a little bit of a comparison. You've stolen plenty of shows with Shawn. You stole 25 and you stole 26. Some people say that those are the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I think that Hogan and Andre is special. I think Hogan and Rock is special. And I think you and Shawn are special. But I'll be damned if I don't put TLC 2 in the Houston Astrodome up against any of those matches. Mm-hmm. And we discussed that match in 36 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because there's a lot going on in that thing, man.
There's a lot going on, and
there's a lot of players.
There's not 2 players. There's actually 9.
Yeah.
9 players, and we were able to do what we did. And I saw what you did with Shawn, and I know you didn't talk about it for 3 months.
No.
There's a beauty in what you and Shawn did. Mm-hmm. There's a charm to it. So that's why I'm glad that I could burst your bubble tonight on Busted Open After Dark. I've accomplished something in my career.
You did. Yeah, because I was really high on that match, and now you've just kind of now I got to find a whole new match to really kind of sink my teeth into.
You mentioned
Maybe I'll just go back. Well, you said it couldn't involve me, so I was going to go with me and Giant Gonzalez.
5 stars, brother. If it would have
Holy
happened in
shit.
Japan, it would have got 6.
Oh my God, what a train wreck that was!
You mentioned Triple H and your match with him.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H, huge surprise about a week ago. Nick Khan, Stephanie, Shawn Michaels, yourself
Yes.
come out and surprise the hell. And you could see the look on his face.
Yeah.
He had no idea this was coming.
None. It was such a inside job. So we'll get to that too. But it just reaffirms, if you want to, you can still.
Absolutely.
You can still kayfabe, and you can still keep things on the low key and do things that surprise people. Because if you can pull the wool over Triple H in Titan, the Titan Tower, or not Titan, what the WWE office space,
right?
That's old school Titan Tower, right?
Real old school.
I just aged myself again, but that's fine. But to be able to pull the wool over Triple H, who has his hands in everything, and that was on so many levels. I was proud and honored because it was him, and I have so much history with him. But it did too, to be able to pull that off. Now you have Shawn coming from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming from Austin, and to get from those places without people knowing anything, to get to the office while they are on stage doing whatever town hall there was, and to get all the way into gorilla position, and look at Stephanie who's in gorilla position, who was there to have lunch afterwards. So you heard her going looking at me like, "Oh, why are y'all here?"
Right.
And she's thinking in her head, "I'm there to promote LFG," right? So it was such a great hit. And then obviously, he was in such a bad position, right?
In what way?
In what way? In the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I mean, he's the decision maker, right?
Yeah, he can't put himself in the Hall of Fame.
He can't put himself in there, right? That's just like people they're gonna shit all over that,
right?
So it had to be done. It was so stealthy. It was so well done. Nick called Shawn. Nick called me. He said, "What do you guys think?" And we put a plan together. The plan was implemented to perfection, and we caught him off guard.
You could see the look on his face, and when you've been doing this as long as we've been doing, you can tell when you've gotten one of the boys.
Yeah.
Because they stooge off everything in their facials.
Yep.
We're such great poker players,
yes.
But every once in a while we come up against a better poker player, and you and Shawn played that hand and Nick played that hand to perfection. You caught him off guard. And in an industry where we have to tuck our emotions away, and it's a very, very difficult business. And listen, he's had his difficult times in this. We need 3 more episodes to be able to talk, but to catch him off guard, to see the look on his face, you could tell he was genuinely happy. Question to you, and unfortunately we're running out of fucking time. Who inducts him into the Hall of Fame?
Shawn. I think it's got to be Shawn.
It's a no-brainer to you?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, their friendship. You have to put things into perspective. His friendship, the things that they did together. Obviously I have a tremendous history with WrestleMania with him, and we've had great matches. But I think it's got to be Shawn. But that's his call, and wherever he goes, you can't make a wrong call there. But I would guess Shawn. If not Shawn, Stephanie.
There was a question that I wrote down that I was very interested in asking you, and I don't know if you've ever been asked this before.
I like first-time questions.
Have you ever been afraid or felt fear before or during a match?
Fear, no. But I will tell you, and it's so funny how things come full circle. You go back to...
you got 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes, so I got to hurry. So you go back to the WrestleMania where I worked Flair. Flair is his confidence is at all-time low. They beat the crap out of him in WCW. They come back. I get the opportunity. Vince hits me late. He said, Mark, I don't have anybody. Who do you want to work with? It's either RVD or Flair. I said, I want Flair. No disrespect to RVD. Ric Flair is Ric Flair. I want Flair. We build this egg. Vince was completely shocked that I picked him, but that was, you get one chance, right? And, he talks about when I turnbuckle him and he misses the flip over. And he kids about, I said, listen, you want to try that again, kid? And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just trying to ease his, because I didn't really think, why would Ric Flair have any confidence issues? Okay, Brock Lesnar, I lose to Brock Lesnar, but I get concussed during that match, right? So now it's the next year. They've asked me to come back and work with Bray. I'm having unbelievable anxiety, worried about what is going to happen. And in fact, if I still got it, right? And I never had that. I always knew I was the fucking guy, and I had it, and I could do it. And there's pictures and there's video. There's video of Brock coming to me and saying, just checking on me. And then there's another shot of Triple H saying, "Don't forget who the fuck you are." And I'll never forget that. He came to me and he said, "Don't forget who the fuck you are." And that got me through that match with Bray. It wasn't the greatest match in the world, but for where my confidence was, after everything that I accomplished, it was at the bottom.